The more I learn about AI, the more I realize that intelligence in artificial intelligence is the ability of AI or computer systems to be able to mimic the human senses of vision, hearing, listening, touch, movement, and intuition. Today, in this video, we are going to learn about the fundamentals of computer vision. We are going to understand how AI acquires the ability to see and then performs really complex tasks once it acquires this ability. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get started with some awesome examples of what AI can do when it learns to see. This is an example of Amazon Go. Here you can see that a person is just coming in a shopping place, purchasing the or picking up the item which they want and just leaving without having to pay. How this works is that when a person collects an item, the AI system sees or scans what that particular person is purchasing and then charges that person on his or her Amazon account automatically. This would not have been possible if the AI system was not able to see what the person is really purchasing. The second example I want to show you is that which all of you must be familiar. This is an example of the Tesla self-driving car, and here you can see that without manual control, the car is automatically being able to detect obstacles, stop when another car is in front of it, etc. This would not have been possible for the self-driving car if it was not able to detect or see whether there is a car in front of it or whether there is a human crossing the road, etc. I want to take you through another fun example now. So this is a platform Vijwara AI Labs, and this is the project which is hosted on that platform. So let's say there are these leaves, and some of these leaves are healthy and some of these leaves are diseased. This is a very impactful application because sometimes farmers want to very quickly classify the diseased leaves from the healthy leaves. So initially, let's start to do this manually. I'm going to manually classify it as healthy or disease. So let's say this is healthy, this is wrong. Then let's say I classify this as healthy. I classify this as healthy. I classify. Then let's say I classify this as healthy. I classify this as, let's say, diseased. I classify this as diseased. Classify this as diseased. This as diseased. Let's say healthy, diseased, healthy, 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 diseased, and healthy. So as a manual, so this is manual classification which I am doing as a user through visual inspection, and I got it 62.5% correct. Now let's say AI takes charge of this process, and now let us see the AI prediction. By the way, such systems are now routinely being used in practice. Here, the AI is able to see the leaf and very quickly and automatically classify it as it being healthy or diseased. And you can see that it does not make mistakes as a user would do or a human would do, and it's also more correct than humans. So here you can see manual versus AI prediction. Manual for me took 43 seconds and I was wrong many of the times, but AI did it very quickly, 23 seconds, and it was correct 100% of the time. This was only possible because it was able to see the leaf and classify it as healthy or diseased. Another very fascinating example is that in the healthcare space, where looking at brain MRI scans of patients, the AI system can automatically tell whether tumor is present or not. So here is another application from Vijwara AI Labs. So if I click on, let's say, this image and I click on test your model, it says that your model predicted benign and the actual value is benign. Awesome. Let me click on the first and test. Your model predicted benign and the actual value is malignant. So this was an incorrect prediction. Let me make the prediction on this third image. Test your model. Your model predicted benign and the actual value is malignant. Failure, incorrect prediction. Let me do the fourth image. Correct. So the model predicted benign and the actual value is benign. So the question is, how is the model being able to predict for these images? It needs to see these images and understand some features or some patterns in these images, right? Unless the AI is able to see these images, it is impossible for it to make these classifications in the first place. So unless we understand how AI is able to see, we will not really understand how AI is doing this. Like, how is it being able to just look at MRI scans and classify whether brain tumor is present or it's not present? So this is another wonderful example of AI being able to see. Okay, so the third example which I'm going to show you is that of handwritten digit recognition. So the main idea here is that what I'm showing you right now is a trained AI model, and whatever I write here, if I click on predict, the AI system will predict whatever digit has been written here. This is amazing, right? Uh, so the question is, how is AI able to see what I have written for it to be able to make this prediction? Another application which all of us are definitely familiar is that of face recognition on mobile phones. Whenever we look at our phones, the AI automatically sees whether the person is the correct user of the phone and only unlocks for that user. So how is all of this possible? How is AI really be able to see what is in front of it and do all of these awesome things such as Amazon Go, self-driving car, leaf detection, deceased or healthy, brain tumor classification, face unlock? How is AI being able to do all these things? So the main question is that how does AI acquire the ability to see? How can it do so many awesome things? Can it see? So let us dive in deeper into this particular question. When humans look at images, so when as a human I see this particular image, I can immediately tell that this is an image of a person. This is because humans have a trained visual system which has evolved over time, and this visual system is very accurately able to distinguish what signals are reaching the brain and then classify it according to, let's say, whether I see a nose, I see ears, so this image looks like that of a person. So let's say if it's a dog, the light falls on the dog, then it reflects back, enters the human retina, an image of the dog is formed. And not just that, in our childhood, let's say, we have been trained that something which looks like this is a dog. So combining our visual system and the training which we receive from our parents, we are able to confidently say that this indeed is this is a dog. But when you look at an AI, it does not have this complex system which has evolved over time. It does not have the eyes or the brains like humans do. In fact, when AI or computer systems looks at this image, they cannot immediately tell that it's a person. Do you know what happens when a computer sees this particular image for the first time? Uh, this image is actually converted into a grid of pixels. So the brighter regions have a higher pixel value, and the darker regions have a lower pixel value. So what computers or AI actually sees is just a bunch of numbers. It sees something like this when it sees this face. As humans, we can say that I can see eyes, I can see a nose, I can see lips, hair. So maybe this is an image of a person, but not for AI. AI systems just look at images and they see a bunch of numbers. So this again leads to the question that, okay, if AI sees the bunch of numbers, how can it really see? How does it know what these numbers represent? So the main thing here is that although computers don't have eyes and an evolved visual system, we can teach them to see. Similar to how our parents tell us that this is a dog, this is a cat, etc. We have to train an AI system. And this field of study where we train AI systems to see images is called as computer vision. When we look at all these fancy terms, convolutional neural network, all of these terms, it's just a process of training the AI regarding what these numbers actually represent, so that it can correctly classify whether it's a cat, whether it's a dog, whether it's a person, etc. The training process as a whole can be complex, but the whole idea about AI seeing images boils down to this thing of training that particular AI. And unless the AI is trained, it's very difficult for it to see images and classify what that particular image represents. Now let us actually see a live demonstration of this training procedure so that you will understand how we train the AI system really. So we are going to take a simple example of that of cats and dogs, and we'll train the AI system to classify between whether it's a cat or whether it's a dog. And through this training process, I'll show you how it lies at the fundamental base of what all applications we have seen so far: the leaf detection application, the brain tumor classification application, the handwritten digit classification application, etc. So I'm going to this interface called Teachable Machine. The link is teachablemachine.withgoogle.com, and they have image project, audio project, and post project. So they have three types of project. I'm going to click on the image project for now, and I'm going to upload images of cats in one category, and I'm going to upload images of dogs in another category. So this is the training part. So let me click on upload here. Okay, so let me upload 10 images of cats which have been uploaded over here. Right now you can see 10 training images. So you can think of this as a parent teaching a kid that, look, if something looks like this, it's a cat. And I will upload 10 training images of dogs. So I uploaded 10 training images of cats and I have uploaded 10 training images of dogs. Now what we are going to do is we are going to train the AI. So now I'm going to click on train model, which I have clicked. And this training procedure, what's happening underneath this training procedure is that there is an ML algorithm such as a neural network or a convolutional neural network, which is used for this training procedure. So what's really happening underneath this training procedure is that, let me first tell you what's happening underneath the training procedure. So just like parents would show a kid, we need to show the computer pictures of cats and dogs and train it. That's what we have done in the first step. Then what is happening in the training procedure is that the AI is recognizing features or patterns. So it looks at something called, maybe that it sees that these whiskers are longer in cats but shorter in dogs. Dogs' ears are flappy, whereas cats' ears are not flappy. Pupil, it looks at the cat's pupil and sees that it's more sharp or it's more elongated, whereas the dog's pupil is round. Look, we are not telling the AI that these are the features it should look at. The hope is that the AI models which we have, the machine learning models which are underneath this training procedure, our hope is that these models are sophisticated enough so that they can just look at these images and they can identify the features. So this is where we owe a lot of gratitude to the development of convolutional neural networks, etc. Because it turns out that they can just look at 10 images of cats and dogs and be able to identify features and perfectly classify any test image as a cat or a dog. Okay, so now the training part is done, and the reason why you do machine learning courses is for you to understand this training part. What happens underneath this training part? What is a CNN? What are epochs? What is learning rate, etc. Now comes the most important part, which is the testing. So let's upload a test model which the computer has not seen before, and let us try to see whether the classification is correct. So now I've uploaded a cat image here. This was not included in the training data, and with 100% accuracy, the AI has classified that this is a cat. Uh, Now let me upload a dog test data, and here you can see the classification flipped. Now with 100% accuracy, the AI has classified that this is a dog. Now let me give it a difficult image which was not included in the training set. So here you can see this is an image from a side view, and none of the images in the training data are from a side view. If you check, still the AI is able to correctly classify that this is a dog. So what has most likely happened is that from these images, the AI has found a bunch of features, maybe whiskers, ears, pupils, etc., based on which the AI is actually being able to classify whether it's a cat or whether it's a dog, and it's doing a brilliant job just with 10 image samples. You will notice that if you upload just one image sample, the AI will not do a good job, and I highly invite you to actually test this for yourself. So this is the main idea behind how computers are able to see. It's not magic. We need to train the computers and hope, or we need to train the AI and we need to hope that the AI identifies the features in that particular image and is able to correctly come up with whether what type of image is it. So for example, when you look at this handwritten digit classification, right, first we train the AI with a data set, and that is called as the MNIST data set. It is a data set of a huge number of handwritten digits. So first we train the AI with these digits. We tell the AI that, look, first you look at these digits, try to identify the patterns, like what does the number one look like, what does number two look like, etc. This is also called supervised learning. And then in the testing part, we draw something and then we tell it to predict. So if it's not trained properly, the prediction will not be correct. But if it's trained properly, the prediction will be correct. This is the similar procedure for the brain tumor detection. So actually here, uh, the model which is used is actually a convolutional neural network, or a CNN, which looks at a huge number of MRI scans before the testing part. Before the testing part, there's a training part where we give it huge number of scans and we tell it that these have brain tumor and these have not. So then the AI starts to learn that if there is a spot in the image, it is probably means that a brain tumor is present. If the spot is not present, it means that the brain tumor is absent. Sometimes it makes mistakes if the model is not correct, but this is the whole idea behind how AI sees. uh, if you look at this leaf detection challenge, it's exactly the same. We give it or train it first with a bunch of leaves and tell it which are healthy, which are diseased, etc. This actually has a huge number of applications, because it can be, if the field of the farmer is getting rotten, or if the farmer isn't able to quickly tell whether the leaf is diseased or healthy, we can just have a drone go over all the leaves, take the images and classify it as healthy or diseased, and then we can remove the diseased plants appropriately. I will make a separate video on this where I'll actually bring leaves, and show you how to make an AI model which can classify between healthy and diseased leaves. So you can do that on your own. Even behind self-driving cars, the principle is exactly the same. We need to first train the AI that, what do humans look like, what does other car look like, etc. And only when the AI system is trained, it can correctly classify whether it's a car in front of it or whether it's a human in front of it. So that's the whole idea behind, um, this is the whole idea behind how computers are able to really see. And although they see a bunch of numbers, we need to train them that what these numbers really represent. So hopefully they can derive some meaning regarding what they are seeing. And since computers are able to see, they are able to do a wide range of tasks. Cats and dog classification is just a toy example, but as we saw, Amazon Go, then self-driving cars, brain tumor classification, leaf detection, healthy or diseased, handwritten digit classification, all of these tasks are possible because of the ability of computers to see. uh, Thank you, everyone. I hope this video was helpful for you. My main aim through all of these videos is to make AI accessible to all and to help students understand that it's not as difficult or as complex as many people think. It's actually very simple. And if we understand it intuitively, we'll really understand how things around us work. I also have a separate series called Machine Learning Teach by Doing, and I highly encourage you to check it out and follow it to learn the basics of machine learning. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.